So, have you ever been in the gym, you look over at someone lifting with just terrible form, and you think to yourself, don't they know they're going to get hurt? Well, the truth is, it's a lot more complicated than you might think. It's often not about a lack of knowledge at all. It's a deep psychological battle. Okay, so let's dive into this and really explore the reason your own mind might be sabotaging your body.
This quote, this really just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? We're not talking about sloppy reps here, we're talking about a mental trap. The moment the image of getting stronger becomes more important than the reality of your health, well, you're not just risking a pulled muscle. You are building a foundation that is absolutely destined to collapse. So this first section, we're calling it the ego's injury, because that's really where the damage starts. Long before you ever pull a muscle or strain a joint, the very first injury happens in your head, in your perception. We start building our entire physical future on this faulty foundation, where what our mind wants to do is totally disconnected from what our body is screaming at us. And let's be super clear about this. That little twinge in your back, that ache in your knee, the shakiness of a weight that's just a little too heavy, those aren't random. They are warning signs. And choosing to push through them, that isn't a sign of toughness. It's a conscious choice to ignore your body's own safety system, and it's driven entirely by what's going on upstairs.
Okay, so let's get into the mechanics of how this all works. How does this ego-driven mindset create these huge problems? In this next part, we're going to uncover the unseen saboteurs inside your own mind, these hidden psychological traps that convince you to make these dangerous choices, often without you even realizing it's happening.
So let's talk about the first culprit. Have you ever felt that sudden urge to add just a little more weight to the bar because someone walked past? Or maybe you felt kind of self-conscious grabbing the lighter dumbbells. Yeah, that feeling? It has a name. It's called the social mirror effect.
And what's so wild about this is that at its core, it's just a form of people-pleasing. I mean, think about it for a second. You are literally sacrificing the long-term health of your joints just to manage what you think a complete stranger might be judging you for. It's your mind choosing a fleeting moment of pride over a lifetime of pain-free movement. It's crazy.
But look, that external pressure, that's only half the story. The other trap is way more internal. Why is it that so many of us just skip the foundational work? Why do we avoid those simple, kind of boring, but crucial form drills and jump straight to the flashy, impressive-looking exercises? And here's the reason right here. Avoidance anxiety. It's the fear of being seen as a novice, as a beginner. We would rather fake it till we make it, performing a really complex lift poorly, than humble ourselves and master the basics perfectly. This anxiety convinces us that it's actually better to risk a serious injury than to risk looking incompetent for just a few minutes. So you see, we're caught in this psychological tug of war. On one side, you've got the external judgment from the social mirror, and on the other, you've got this internal fear from avoidance anxiety. And you're trapped right in the middle between the fear of what others think and the fear of looking foolish. And you know who pays the price for that conflict? Your body. Every single time. And you know, eventually, this whole conflict hits a breaking point. Something's got to give. You can only ignore your body's warnings for so long before something just snaps. This is what we call the point of collapse, where all that psychological pressure finally becomes a very real, very physical breakdown. Just think about it for a sec. All those little signals you ignored, all those times you chose your ego over your own safety, they add up. It's like a debt that accumulates over time until one single movement, one wrong twist, turns all those minor issues into one major debilitating injury. And believe me, the fallout isn't just physical. And this leads to something we call the silent collapse. It is a devastating psychological shutdown. After you get injured, that inner critic just takes over. The voice in your head doesn't say, I made a mistake with my form. No, it says, I am a failure. And that feeling, it becomes so powerful that a lot of people just quit fitness altogether. They abandon the very thing that could have helped them heal in the first place. But listen, it does not have to end there. If the problem is psychological, then the solution has to be too. We can absolutely rebuild our foundation, but this time we have to do it from the inside out. So let's walk through a 3-step psychological fix to fight back against these traps and build real, sustainable strength. Okay, let's break this down. First up, the ego audit. This is you literally giving yourself permission to be a beginner again. Using humble weights is not a sign of weakness, it's a direct assault on that avoidance anxiety. Second, you gotta focus on the mind-muscle connection. Stop just moving weight from point A to point B. Instead, make it a mental game to feel the specific muscle you're trying to work. That's the difference between an ego lift and a productive rep. And finally, you create a new feedback loop.
Your goal is no longer the number on the dumbbell. Your new goal is the sensation of perfect execution. Shifting your focus inward like this is the ultimate antidote to that silent collapse.
Now, here's the cool part. If you can actually master these internal steps, something incredible starts to happen. You develop a kind of discipline that is exceptionally rare, and you start to realize that the ultimate reward for all this hard work, it isn't just a stronger body. It's something much, much bigger.
Because when you start training your mind this way, you realize the work you're doing in the gym, it goes so far beyond just building muscle or getting your cardio in.
Every single rep you do with perfect form is an act of what psychologists call stress inoculation. You are intentionally exposing yourself to a controlled, manageable amount of stress. And when you do that, you're not just training your muscles, you're training your entire nervous system to stay calm and focused under pressure. You're building the mental skill to handle discomfort without panic.
And this brings us to maybe the most powerful idea of all, post-traumatic growth. This is the principle that we can become stronger because of our challenges, not just in spite of them. By intentionally breaking down your ego, facing that fear of being a beginner, and meticulously rebuilding your form, you are practicing the exact same mental process we use to overcome the biggest challenges in life.
So you see, the true reward here isn't physical at all, it's mental resilience. By mastering your form, you develop better body awareness, which helps you stay calm under physical stress. That, in turn, builds emotional regulation, the ability to control your impulses, like that impulse to lift too heavy. And when you practice this over and over and over, you're not just exercising, you are fundamentally rewiring your brain to be more focused, more disciplined, and more resilient in every single area of your life.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We focus so much on the weight on the bar, right? The speed on the treadmill, all these external markers of progress. But maybe, just maybe, the real work, the heaviest lift, and the greatest victory of all, has nothing to do with iron. What if it's about mastering the weight of your own ego?